Lukwago. Pensas lawannya karena khawalakan itu kabgo bijaya kali kakamale mbaga ujaya semula mtu wa sekono mla Kalau ini basi
My name is Medad Vegas. I appear together with the foreign council.
It's not a child.
Mr. Katuba. Mr. Samuel is Mr. Jude Mbabali. Mr. Lawrence Kabuye. Mr. Abubakar Sekan Jakko. Mr. Apollo Kwesiga, Ms. Proscovia Kunihira, Ms. Irene Nabunya, Mr. Isaac Kwagala, Mr. Ronald Shabe, Mr. Ukasha Sekaja, Honorable Joseph Sewungu, and finally Tobias Hasufwa. Mr. Tobias Hasufwa. Khasufwa. We appear for the accused person. Your Honor, we noticed that this is the first time handling this matter. That is correct. But before I see our client is trying to raise some matter and apparently touching his health, may I pray that you listen to him first. Then we will make our submission for today. Probably would want to hear from the state. Maybe they want to withdraw. 25 years. But moments come when you are overcome. I'm sure if someone came and said that the lawyer is indisposed, you would demand to know the particulars, especially when it comes to a matter of this nature. When I noticed and submitted that my client seems to have something to communicate to court touching his health, I thought you would entertain that and hear it. The jurisdiction in law relates to trying a matter. In my humble submission, nothing limits your power to hear. I am sure that you would be interested in knowing why the accused person has not appeared. Conventionally, the file before you has a record of poor health, and the court would be interested in knowing the state of health of the person that was sent to hospital. Probably that's what you wanted to address court. I would still implore Your Honor.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, this person was referred to hospital by this Honorable Court. He's not in court, and I must say that even the presentation on Zoom was a clandestine move. We were not informed. We kept waiting for him down to listen to him and probably receive any additional instructions. only to be informed that court is sitting and prosecution is already sitting. Probably you would need to know the accused's state of health before you exercise the jurisdiction to adjourn. I would still employ you.
Yes, Honorable.
Yes, Your Worship.
Please address court on the health concerns that your counsel just informed the court.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm in possession of a medical report from Mulago Hospital here, made by senior consultants, 5 senior consultants. These consultants include the senior consultant on orthopedics and spine surgeon, was the team leader Norbert Owoth.
I beg your pardon, senior consultant of
orthopedic and the spine surgeon, Dr. Norbert Owoth. I have senior consultant physician, a cardiologist, Michael Mukomera. I have a neurologist, senior consultant physician, Stephen Matovu. I have also, there is also a consultant neurosurgeon, Joel Chigawiri, and associate consultant orthopedic and spine surgeon, Dr. Edward Chionde. These are senior medical consultants who were tasked by the executive director, Mulago Hospital, Dr. Rosemary Vianima, to examine my state of health. I spent a whole week in Mulago undergoing specialized investigation and some interventions that could be made within the capacity of Mulago Hospital. Your Worship, it's a detailed report which is on record of court, because I can see court received it on 1st July. It's addressed to the Chief Magistrate. It's dated 30th June 2026. There is a forwarding letter written by Dr. Vianima K. Rosemary, the Executive Director. Your Worship, after thorough examination, they established that I suffer 5 chronic health challenges. 5 chronic health challenges, which are very, very serious. And as we speak today, my life is in danger if they are not attended to. I have a problem with breathing. They mentioned it here. I have a lung complex with what they call residual mild cylindrical bronchitis. Which is a permanent damage on my lungs. And once I'm in a place with limited oxygen, I suffer breathlessness, and that's why here I was gasping for air, because the windows had been closed and I was not breathing well. And they recommended that I should always be in a well-ventilated environment, because of that pulmonary challenge. It's called my current pulmonary functional tests, which they conducted, indicated that I need that kind of environment. My Lord, the second one is that I have a residue cervical radiculitis following a cervical 6-7 disc replacement surgery and the adjacent level C5-6 disc disease. That is the cervical problem I am enduring ever since I underwent a surgical operation on 29th of April 2024, which I have been nursing all through. And these senior consultants have strongly recommended, and I want to read the verbatim, their recommendation after that finding, that Lukwago should have a spinal review by his primary spine surgeons in India to re-evaluate him for the persistent upper limbs radiculitis. It's a medical term. That they were unable to repeat the MRI investigations because they were not certain of the compatibility of the implants, the artificial disc that were used for his primary spine surgery and MRI scans. So the point here is, when they conducted an anterior cervical dissectomy with a disc replacement at C6 here, the nerve root at the spinal cord, there was an implant, an artificial disc, which was inserted here. And when I went to Omulamuzi, after conducting the investigation, they did a CT scan, they discovered there were attendant issues which had complicated this situation and required further examination and urgent attention by the neurologists and neurosurgeons who conducted the surgery in India, and that is immediate. It's urgent. So I was put on some kind of therapeutic treatment. They gave me pregabalin, at least to contain the excruciating pain I am undergoing, I am facing. That excruciating pain is being mitigated by the use of some medication, part of which is pregabalin, and of course some scraps like fosfastum and others. That is the second one, Your Worship.
That is noted.
The third one, Your Worship, Yes?
I said that is noted.
I was saying that one requires immediate evacuation to India, and I should be in India by now. I need to be in India now. If my life is to be saved. Erias have been condemned to death. And there is a limit, Your Worship, to using of these neurotherapeutic whatever medicines like the gabapentin. I interchange with the gabapentin. Your Worship, I was also diagnosed with the persistent anomazia and tinnitus, which occasioned eustachian tube dysfunction, ETD, as well as Ebimubala disease and olfactory dysfunction. Your Worship, the EMT recommended that they made a finding, if you could listen to this. Lukwago's EMT conditions are irreversible and he should be maintained on his current medication. But this condition I am suffering, complicating my hearing system, my eustachian tube, is irreversible. The only medication that I have, my Lord, Your Worship, is twofold. One, I can keep using sedatives to be able to sleep. Initially, I was using clonazepam. In Mulago, they had given me clonazepam. Here in Irusira, they had given me diazepam. But prior to coming here, I was using bromazepam. So imagine from clonazepam to diazepam, now to bromazepam. And the doctors will tell you they are very, very addictive and dangerous to one's life. They can't be used sustainably or permanently. So prior to my being arrested and incarcerated here, the doctors had recommended that I use a tinnitus pillow. And that tinnitus pillow, Your Worship, helps to mitigate those sensations in the ear, like muffled sounds and all that, which complicates the hearing system, the whole system, including eustachian tube dysfunction. That tinnitus pillow, if you were to look at it, it has got specifications that are made. I had to undergo tests to establish which kind of pillow I needed, the gadget I needed. So after the measurements, they sent those specifications to UK, where it was ordered and brought within 3 months. I had to endure that problem for 3 months. When it was finally brought, it alleviated the problem because it's the pillow that I use. It has some gadgets, it's wired, it has got a remote, it has got some loudspeakers, and there are different sounds it plays depending on your health complication, Your Worship. So unfortunately, ever since I was arrested, it's now 3 weeks, I've not used it. And I'm on sleeping pills. So when we went to Mulago, Dr. Bisofred, who is the MT consultant on the team, made the recommendation, and it's the report here. The entire consultant, the consultant said, please allow these, unfortunately, the prisons authorities, because they feared for security reasons that it has some gadgets inside, tore it and removed some parts, so it got dismantled. Up to now, I am not using it. It was brought here, but it's dysfunctional because it had been dismantled. I've been struggling with the prisons authorities to see that my relatives reach out to the experts who worked on it to see if it can be repaired, but it's a tug of war. Have not been successful, Your Worship. So up to now, the tinnitus pillow is not with me. It's in the office of the OCCI, Office of Prisons. I don't have it, and I cannot use it because it's dysfunctional. So I'm spending sleepless nights unless I use sedatives. I've reached a point, Your Worship, where these sedatives can no longer work. Even when I take them, I've increased on the dose. I can only sleep for 1-2 hours. Then I sit till morning. Over the weekend, when I got some strong one from out, the doctors had advised I shouldn't use it unless they guide me for good reason. Unfortunately, Your Worship, I couldn't afford, I couldn't wait. I started on it, but they have cautioned me the dangers of continuing with those sedatives under the circumstances. The third one, that is the third one, Your Worship. The fourth one, Your Worship, because these are all chronic, is gastritis. And here, this is their finding, Your Worship. They made a finding Lukwago has got non-erosive GERD, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and erophagia, which causes belching and mild hiatus hernia. Your Worship, if I may explain to you, hiatus hernia is some complication in the gut here, around the sphincter muscles here, the diaphragm here. You get the stomach, so that whatever contents you have in the stomach, which are highly acidic, they spill over back to the gut, causing what they call acid reflux, regurgitation, and in the end, they may cause lower esophageal cancer. There's what they call lower esophageal sphincter. It is now that lower esophageal sphincter is now flabby. So I have to lie almost, if I'm to sleep, the head, I'm not supposed to sleep flat. I am supposed to lean upwards like this, to just keep the contents down so that there is no overflow of acid and food from the stomach back to the gut. It is so scorching and is likely to cause cancer of the esophagus if not attended to. So this hiatus hernia requires surgical operation. They have to operate it and remove that part which is protruding, that part of the stomach that is protruding into the gut, so that you can have the food contents contained within the stomach. And this is a very serious problem, Your Worship. For now, they recommended specialized diet which can help me manage, but I can't afford it here. I cannot have it here. You know the conditions under which I'm contained. unless I am admitted, I'm given that special diet. It's not possible. So what I'm now doing is to constantly use what they call PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, to contain the production of acid, and also all sorts of types of antacids, like suspensions, like syrups and chewables, and all those sorts of antacids, so that I can keep controlling the acid reflux and acid production. But that is a temporary measure. Even diet is a temporary measure. The lifestyle change is a temporary measure. All I need is to have a surgery so that they deal with that hiatus hernia that is posing a serious danger of having gut cancer. So finally, the final one, Your Worship, they made a finding that, and this is actually, it's not a finding, Lukwago should continue with his current treatment for hypertension. No doubt I'm a known case of hypertension. For the last 10 years, I've been on medication. And this problem gets worse with all these complications, the cocktail of these health challenges. In the end, they complicate the issue of hypertension. So now it may be now relatively contained because of the suppressive mechanisms we are using to deal with these other complications. And the cardiologists have also advised, if I continue with this sleeping posture to contain the issue of GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, or gastritis, then it affects blood saturation. I will have again to raise my legs up so that as I sleep, so that blood flows, to ease blood saturation. Now you can imagine, I have all these problems with the gastroenterologists who are part of this team are advising me to have a particular sleeping posture with the head leaning up. The neurosurgeons are advising me to sleep on an orthopedic mattress which is hard and lie a little flat, not raising myself. Cardiologists, Mr. Mukomera and others, are advising me to raise the legs up. Then meanwhile, the pulmonologist, that is Professor Rodri and the team, they are advising me to keep in a well-ventilated place. Yet you know the conditions of the prisons. The prisons are not well ventilated. So in a nutshell, Your Worship, I am sentenced to death. I am condemned to death. If no rescue is made to get my situation addressed as advised by the consultants from Lago, it's a death sentence for me. And all I can say to Allah, if you are to take me, my Lord, the God who created me, kindly take me without a lot of pain. If I may make a last prayer, Your Worship, instead of taking me through all this pain, I be put on some palliative care so that I die a less painful death. Otherwise, the pain is too much. I know I will die. I know all of us will die. But I wouldn't want to die a painful death. I beg to pray.
Submission which counsel did not bring to the attention of court was that the matter had been adjourned for mention. And the status of the investigations is that they are ongoing. the sitting magistrate has no jurisdiction in the matter. And that the inquiries are still ongoing. We seek a further action in the future.
No liberty to comment on this, the prayer for adjournment. We shall concede to the same and pray that the matter be adjourned to tomorrow to address the urgent health concerns of the accused person, which address apparently may only be ordered from what you said by the presiding chief magistrate. We know that the chief magistrate is a human being who may also fall sick. We pray and hope that her sickness is not to the extent of our client's condition. And therefore that she would be in a position to give direction to this case. Tomorrow, but in the meantime, we also know that you are in a position, you're empowered to make directions on the management of the prisoner, especially with regard to his tinnitus pillow. If the prison's authorities that gambled with its physics are not in a position to fix it as we believe, we seek for orders that the pillow be released to the family to see if the same could be fixed, and if not, for the family to go through the pain of ordering for a new one. Assuming for the next 3 months which the pillow takes, the intended beneficiary would still be in a position to use it. May you also caution the overzealous prison officers in future who can concentrate on what they know and basically mostly all they know is manual. I hope in your ruling on adjournment, you will not be signing a death warrant. We pray for an adjournment to tomorrow, and for which we are prepared to be here again. You're writing
Good morning once again. Honorable, are you able to hear us?
Hello.
Are you muted?
Hello.
Honorable, can you hear us? Call Victoria. Is it from us? Can you hear us now? Are you able to hear us, Honorable?
Yes, Your Worship, I can hear you.
Yes, I have made the necessary consultations, and I have been informed that the next available date is 16th of July 2026. The accused counsel are advised to seek audience with the Chief Magistrate in regards to the concerns raised today, since I don't have jurisdiction to make orders in this matter.
time.
At 10 a.m. What is agenda until then?
We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, Attotorede, Mukomera, you die someday.
Tusanga luwed. Omusibe mumulabye ng'ali Mukomera. Anyway, the matter has been adjourned to 16th of July, as you heard for yourselves, that the presiding chief magistrate is indisposed. And her only available date is 16th of July. Well, I think you had the report for yourselves. The Lord Mayor himself traversed the report. But one, the report confirms all the ailments that we were talking about, or we have talked about before court, and concludes with a recommendation that he be referred back to India, where he was operated, and he be handled by his primary spine surgeon in Fortis, India. The second is that he needs a well-ventilated environment for him to survive because of the breathing difficulties. And of course, you know how congested our prisons are. Number three, that he needs to live according to the prescriptions made by his doctors, including the use of a tinnitus pillow, which has since been dismantled by prison authorities. And the reason was simple, that they did not understand it. Now, instead of seeking to understand, you move in to act in a manner that is injurious to life. You can believe, you can imagine. The other thing, of course, is that some of the findings conclude that his ailments, some of his ailments are permanent. He's got to live with them, but in accordance with the prescribed lifestyle. That lifestyle cannot be ensured in prison conditions. Unfortunately, the presiding chief magistrate, they said, is indisposed. On the other prayers that we placed before court, the learned magistrate, grade 1, advised that we interface with the chief magistrate as the only person with jurisdiction to issue orders. I don't believe that, but that's her ruling. Because, I mean, who said that grade 1's powers are limited to adjourning. Because even adjourning and further remand is an order. So if you can't make orders, then how come you can make the order to remand further? But that's a matter we will address with the presiding chief magistrate, who we've been advised will be in tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be here and seek audience to deliver. In the event that in this position means she's unwell, we pray for her quick recovery to come back and attend to duty. Thank you. Omusibe alabikidde ku mutimbagano kye bataatubuulidde kooti yokka ye yategedde n'abooludda oluwaabi. Kyokubiri batuwadde okukomawo wano ng'ennaku z'omwezi 16 omwezi gw'omusanvu, olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi 7. So nga batugamba nti agumire ennaku ye kumala ennaku 9 eziddako. Nalwo lujja kutuuka oba mulamu oba si mulamu. Ekyo kimu. Ekyokubiri, obulwadde alipoota kuva e Mulago yakakasizza byonna bye tubadde tujja tubagamba, ebyuma ebiri mu mugongo ne mu lukizi, ate kati yafunye n'enkizo endala 2 ezeetaaga okussaamu ebyuma. Ab'e Mulago babadde tebasobola mussa mu kyuma kyabwe ekya MRI kubanga tebeekakasa obanga kikwatagana ne sayansi w'ebyuma ebiri mu mubiri. Okussa kwe kubi, baagala abeere mu kifo ekirina empewo obulungi, Mukomera tekiriiyo. Era kyovudde olaba nga akugamba nti akkiriza okufa, naye yandyagadde bamuwe eddagala afe bulungi aleke kufa mu bulumi. Kiri painful, naye tujja kukiyitamu kubanga bwe luba lutalo nga terunaggwa tosuula ngabo, kubanga wosuulira engabo lukoma. Twandibadde tusobola okuwummula ne tuluwummuza singa munnaffe abadde bweru, naye ng'ali munda tetujja kuwummula. Famire n'abalala tubasabira. Omulamuzi abadde tasobola na kuwa biragiro ku piro y'omusajja bano gye baayuzaayuza ne bagisokoolamu ebyuma bye batasobola kuzzaawo kati, naye ng'ate eri medically recommended, baagitumya Bungereza nga ne bino tebinnabaawo. Omuntu ayinza ogamba baagitumizza kati kusobola kuketta biri mu makomera. Ab'amakomera tulowooza nti bandibadde basoboka kwebuuza naddala ng'otandikira ku ye nga tonnaba kuyuza piro ya musajja, ye muwa ku tulo kati teyeebakira ddala. Owulidde kyamukisa mubi nti omuntu alina obulwadde obufaanana bwe butyo ate teyeebaka. Mu buteebaka oyongera okulinnyisa obulwadde bwe. Alina operations 3 ezirindiridde. Operation y'okutereeza ebyuma bino bye baakyamya nga bamukozesa dduyiro obulumi bungi. Operation y'okumussaamu ebyuma ebirala wansi mu lumbar joints, n'operation eya wano hiatus hernia gwe balina okulongoosa bw'alwawo afuuka cancer of the esophagus. Egamba kama abakuumi.
Omulamuzi ayongeddeyo omusango.
Ekyo kyokka kyabadde asobola okukola. Weero batugambye ekyajja kubaamu, olwaleero atasobodde kubaamu. Tumusabira bw'abanga obutabaawo kiriva ku bulwadde, Mukama amujjanjabe asobole okudda amangu enkyakole.
Bakochakola popsi. Olifunye? Buuza ofunye erinnya ly'omulamuzi olikumbuuzamu.
Bagenda ddi yali waggulu.
Egundi eyo namulabye awandika alabika ali eyo omulamuzi.
Okutu kwange si kunene kusinga gugu. Naawe oli omuntu omunene okulisinga muwala.
ogwange ngumanyi kubanga akyali mu ssomero ogwange ngumanyi nga akyali mu ssomero bagunkumanga.
Amanya gange Sewankambo Kafeero, nze ensala y'omulamuzi enneewunyisizza kubanga entandika yaagwo yali nnambulu kufunga Lukwago mulwadde era nga tusuubira nti lwanajja mu kkooti bajja muwa beyiro agende mu ddwaliro. N'ekitwewuunyisizza lipooti y'abasawo boogera ndala ate n'omulamuzi akoze birala. Ewamu n'ekyo tebamulese mu kkooti batutadde ku iPad etali zoom nti buli muntu alaba. iPad nga n'ebyogerwa byonna tebikola ki? Tebiwulikika. Omulamuzi ne bamala okumubuulira balooya enneeyisa y'omulwadde bwali omusibe ate n'avaawo n'adda mu kasenge n'ajja atuwa olunaku nga 9. Kitukoze bubi, kituyisizza bubi era tukivumirira. Omukulembeze bwe yabadde ayogera yagambye beyiro ziveewo. Kirabika tikati n'abalamuzi bali ku biragiro bya Mwami Museveni pulezidenti w'eggwanga kubanga ye ng'omukulembeze tateesa buli kyayogera libatteeka. Mwami pulezidenti Museveni yatudde ku balamuzi era yaggyeyo obuyinza bw'obwa pulezidenti n'abuteeka mu ssiga eddamuzi. Kati essiga eddamuzi kizibu nnyo, Mukama atuyambe, kizibu nnyo essiga eddamuzi okukola ki? Okwetengerera nga we lyetengeredde. Lirabika liri ku biragiro bya Mwami Museveni.